Amara lived the kind of life others prayed for. A peaceful home, a loving husband, a joy-filled life, and a friendship that felt like family. But her life took its darkest turn the day she opened her doors to help a friend. Will Amara survive this, or will the betrayal destroy everything she holds dear? Continue watching to find out. Amara stood by the kitchen window, watching the sun paint golden streaks across her compound. She smiled as she stirred the pot of jollof rice. The aroma filled the entire house. Behind her, strong arms wrapped around her waist. "My beautiful wife," Chike whispered into her ear. "What are you thinking about?" Amara leaned back into his chest. "I'm thinking about how blessed I am." Chike turned her around gently and kissed her forehead. "No, my love, I am the blessed one." This was their life, every single day. Their neighbors talked about them. Their friends envied them. Even strangers could see the love radiating from their home. Amara and Chike had been married for 3 years, but their love felt brand new every morning. They laughed together. They prayed together. They built their dreams together. Their house was not the biggest in the neighborhood, but it was filled with peace. The kind of peace that money cannot buy. The kind of peace that comes when two people truly love each other. Every morning, Chike woke up before Amara. He would watch her sleep for a few minutes, just smiling at her peaceful face. Then he would kiss her cheek softly until she opened her eyes. "Good morning, my queen," he would say. And Amara would stretch like a cat and smile. "Good morning, my king." People who visited their home always left feeling warm inside. There was something special about the way they looked at each other, the way they touched each other's hands when they walked, the way they finished each other's sentences. Their love was real. Pure, untouched by the bitterness that ruins so many marriages. But they didn't know that someone was watching them with hungry eyes, someone who wanted everything they had. It was a Thursday evening when Regina came. Amara was in the living room, reading a book, when she heard the desperate knock on the gate. "Amma, please open! It's me, Regina!" Amara's face lit up. She dropped her book and rushed to the gate. Regina stood outside with 2 large bags and swollen eyes. Tears streamed down her face. Her clothes looked rumpled, like she had been wearing them for days. "Regina," Amara gasped. "What happened to you?" Regina collapsed into Amara's arms, sobbing. "Amma, my landlord threw me out. He said I haven't paid rent in 3 months. I begged him, Amma. I went on my knees, but he threw all my things outside and changed the locks." Amara held her friend tighter. "Stop crying. You're not homeless. You have me." "Amma, I have nowhere to go. My family has abandoned me. My own brothers won't even answer my calls. I've been walking around all day with these bags. Please let me stay with you, just for a few weeks, until I find another place." Amara pulled back and held Regina's face in her hands. "Stop talking like that. You're not a stranger to me. You're my sister. My home is your home. You hear me?" Fresh tears poured from Regina's eyes, but this time they seemed like tears of relief. "Thank you, Amma. God will bless you. I promise I won't be a burden. I'll help with cooking, cleaning, everything. You're not a burden, Regina. Come inside. Let me call Chike." Chike came out of his study when he heard voices. When Amara explained the situation, he didn't hesitate. "Regina, you're welcome in our home," he said warmly. He picked up her heavy bags like they weighed nothing. "Come, let me show you to the guest room. You can stay as long as you need." Regina looked at them both, gratitude shining in her eyes. Thank you so much. I'll never forget this kindness." That night, Amara prepared a special dinner. She wanted Regina to feel at home. They ate together, laughed together, and talked about old memories. Regina watched them from across the table. She watched how Chike put extra chicken on Amara's plate without being asked. She watched how Amara wiped a grain of rice from the corner of Chike's mouth, and how he kissed her hand afterward. She watched how they smiled at each other with eyes full of secrets and private jokes. Something twisted in Regina's stomach. It wasn't gratitude. It was something bitter. The first morning was when it really began. Regina woke up early, around 6 a.m. She walked out of the guest room to use the bathroom and heard laughter coming from the master bedroom. She stopped in the hallway, listening. "Chike, stop! You're going to burn it." Amara's voice was filled with giggles. "I'm not going to burn it. I'm a professional chef." Chike's deep voice was playful. "Professional chef? You almost burned the kitchen last week." More laughter. Regina crept closer to the slightly open door. Through the gap, she could see Chike standing by the bed in his pajamas, holding a breakfast tray. On the tray was toast, scrambled eggs, fresh fruit, and a cup of tea. "For you, my queen," Chike said dramatically, bowing like a waiter. Amara sat up in bed, her bonnet slightly crooked, her face glowing with happiness. "You cooked breakfast for me? Chike, you didn't have to." "I wanted to." He placed the tray carefully on her lap and sat beside her. "You worked too hard, Amma. You deserve to be spoiled." He picked up a slice of mango and held it to her lips. "Open." Amara opened her mouth and he fed her gently. Then he kissed her forehead. "I love you so much," he whispered. "I love you more," Amara whispered back. Regina's hands balled into fists. Her chest felt tight. She turned away quickly and walked back to her room, but she couldn't get the image out of her mind. The way he looked at Amara, like she was the only woman in the world, like she was precious, like she was everything. Regina had never experienced that kind of love. No man had ever looked at her that way. No man had ever cooked for her. No man had ever touched her with such tenderness. She sat on her bed, breathing hard. "Why does she get everything?" Regina whispered to herself. "Why her and not me?" The days that followed were torture for Regina. Every single day she witnessed something that stabbed her heart. One morning, she walked into the living room and found Chike braiding Amara's hair. Yes, braiding. He was doing simple cornrows, his large hands working carefully through her thick hair. "Chike, you're pulling too hard." Amara laughed. Sorry, I'm learning." He kissed the top of her head. "I watched a YouTube video. I want to be able to braid your hair when we have daughters." "Daughters?" Amara turned around, eyes sparkling. "Yes, beautiful little girls who look exactly like you." They stared at each other, lost in their own world. Regina stood frozen in the doorway. Her throat felt dry. Another evening, she watched Chike massage Amara's feet while they watched TV together. "You're spoiling her," Regina said with a forced laugh, trying to hide the bitterness in her voice. Chike looked up and grinned. "That's my job. I'm supposed to spoil my wife." Amara wiggled her toes playfully, and he does it so well. They laughed together. Regina laughed too. But inside, she was burning. Every morning, Chike kissed Amara goodbye before leaving for work. Not just a quick peck. A real kiss. Long and tender. Every evening when he returned, the first thing he did was look for Amara. His face would light up when he saw her. He would drop his briefcase, walk straight to her and pull her into his arms. "I missed you," he would say. "I missed you more," she would reply. Every night, Regina could hear them talking and laughing through the walls. Sometimes she heard Chike praying over Amara, his deep voice asking God to bless his wife, protect her, and give her everything her heart desired. Regina would press her pillow over her head, trying to block it out. But she couldn't block it out. It followed her everywhere. During breakfast, she watched them. During dinner, she watched them. When they sat in the living room, she watched them. Chike held Amara's hand while they watched TV. He played with her fingers. He kissed her knuckles randomly. He whispered things in her ear that made her blush and slap his shoulder playfully. They were always touching, always smiling, always together. And Regina was always on the outside looking in. The jealousy grew like a weed in her heart. At first, she told herself, "I just want a man like Chike, someone who will love me like that." But then the thought changed. Why can't I find a man like Chike? Then it changed again. Why does Amara get to have Chike? And finally, the thought that poisoned everything. I want Chike. I want him for myself. 2 weeks after moving in, Regina made her decision. It was late at night. Everyone was asleep. Regina sat on her bed in the dark, her phone pressed against her ear. "Mama," she whispered, "I need your help." Her mother's voice was rough and knowing. "What is it, my daughter?" "Mama, I've seen paradise, but it's not mine. What do you mean?" Regina's voice shook with emotion. "Amara has everything I want. A beautiful home, a loving husband, a peaceful life. Mama, her husband. I watch him every day, the way he treats her, the way he loves her. Mama, I want him." There was a long silence on the other end. Then her mother spoke slowly. "Are you sure about this? What you're asking for? It's not a small thing." "I'm sure, Mama. I've never been more sure of anything. I can't keep watching them. I can't keep pretending to be happy for her. I want what she has. I want him." Her mother sighed deeply. It was the kind of sigh that carried wicked intention. If that is truly your desire, then listen carefully. Bring me something that belongs to her, something she wears close to her body, a wrapper, a scarf, anything. Bring it to me tomorrow." Tomorrow, Regina's heart raced. Yes, the sooner we begin, the better. But remember, my daughter, once we start this, there is no going back. I don't want to go back, Mama, I want him. Then bring me what I asked for. The call ended. Regina sat in the darkness, her mind spinning. She knew what she was about to do was wrong. She knew it was evil, but the jealousy had eaten away at her conscience. She wanted Chike, and she would do anything to get him. The next morning, Amara went to work early. Chike left shortly after. Regina waited until the house was completely empty. Then she walked into Amara's bedroom. Her hands trembled as she opened the wardrobe. Inside, Amara's clothes hung neatly. Everything smelled like her perfume, sweet and clean. Regina pushed past the dresses and blouses until she found what she was looking for, a beautiful purple wrapper with gold patterns. She had seen Amara wear it many times. She pulled it out and held it against her chest. "I'm sorry, Ama," she whispered, "but I need this more than you do." She folded the wrapper quickly and stuffed it into her bag. Then she left the room, closing the door softly behind her. That evening, while Amara and Chike were in the living room cuddling and watching a movie, Regina pretended to go out to buy airtime. Instead, she took a motorcycle to her mother's house on the other side of town. Her mother's compound was dark and smelled of burning herbs. Regina had grown up here. She knew the smell well. Her mother was waiting for her in the small shrine behind the house. "You brought it?" her mother asked. Regina nodded and handed over the wrapper. Her mother took it with both hands, examining it carefully. Then she smiled. It was not a kind smile. "This will work perfectly." Regina watched as her mother spread the wrapper on the ground. She lit candles around it. She poured palm oil over the fabric. She tied it with black thread, chanting words in a language Regina didn't understand. The air grew thick, heavy. Regina felt something dark press against her chest, but she didn't stop her mother. Her mother called on spirits. Dangerous spirits, ancient spirits. She invoked hatred, confusion, blindness. She commanded the spirits to enter Chike's heart. "Let him hate his wife," her mother chanted. "Let him despise her. Let him push her away. Let him see only ugliness when he looks at her." The candles flickered violently. The wrapper seemed to move on its own. Regina's mother tied the final knot and looked up, her eyes gleaming in the candlelight. "It is done. By tomorrow morning, everything will begin to change." Regina's heart pounded. Will he love me?" Her mother shook her head slowly. "The magic will make him hate her. But love cannot be forced, even with the strongest magic. But once she is out of the way, you will have your chance." That was enough for Regina. She took the wrapper back, now tied with charms and soaked in dark enchantments, and returned to Amara's house. She hid it deep in her bag where no one would find it. That night, she went to bed with a smile on her face. Tomorrow, everything would change. Tomorrow, Chike would finally see that Amara was not worthy of him. Tomorrow, Regina would have her chance. The next morning began like every other morning. Amara woke up in Chike's arms. He kissed her forehead gently. "Good morning, my love," she whispered. But Chike didn't respond. He pulled his arm away from her and sat up abruptly. Amara blinked in confusion. "Chike, are you okay?" He turned to look at her, and for the first time in their marriage there was no warmth in his eyes, only coldness. "Why are you still lying there?" he snapped. "Get up, do something useful." Amara's breath caught in her throat. "Chike, what did you say? You heard me. Stop being lazy." He got out of bed and walked to the bathroom, slamming the door behind him. Amara sat frozen, her heart pounding. What just happened? That was not her husband. That was not Chike. Something was terribly, terribly wrong. And it was only the beginning. Amara stood in the kitchen, her hands shaking as she cracked eggs into a bowl. It had been 3 days since Chike's personality changed. 3 days of confusion. 3 days of pain. 3 days of wondering what she had done wrong. She could hear him in the living room, his footsteps heavy and angry. Every sound he made put her on edge. This was not the man she married. The man she married sang in the shower. He danced with her in the kitchen. He called her sweet names and made her laugh until her stomach hurt. But this man, this stranger wearing her husband's face, he was cruel. Amara. Chike's voice boomed from the living room. "Where is my shirt? The blue one?" Amara wiped her hands quickly and rushed out. "I ironed it yesterday. It's in the wardrobe." "Then why isn't it on the bed where I can see it?" He glared at her with cold eyes. "Why are you standing there looking at me like a fool? Move! Go get it!" Amara flinched as if he had slapped her. "Chike, why are you talking to me like this?" "Like what? You want me to beg you to bring my own shirt?" He laughed bitterly. "Just do what I asked. Or is that too difficult for you?" Tears stung Amara's eyes, but she swallowed them down. She rushed to the bedroom, grabbed the blue shirt, and brought it to him. He snatched it from her hands without saying thank you. Amara stood there, her heart breaking into pieces. "Anything else?" she asked quietly. "Yes. Stop standing there looking pathetic. It's annoying." The words hit her like stones. She turned and walked back to the kitchen, her vision blurred with tears. From the guest room doorway, Regina watched everything. A small smile played on her lips. "It's working," she thought. "It's really working." Every day Chike got worse. He criticized everything Amara did. When she cooked, he complained. "This food is too salty. You don't know how to cook anymore?" When she cleaned, he complained. "You call this clean? There's dust everywhere. Are you blind?" When she tried to talk to him, he ignored her. When she tried to touch him, he pulled away like she disgusted him. One evening, Amara made his favorite meal, offensala with pounded yam. She prepared it with so much love, hoping it would remind him of better days. She served it to him with a nervous smile. "I made your favorite." Chike looked at the plate and pushed it away. "I'm not hungry." "But you said you were hungry just an hour ago. I changed my mind. Is that a crime?" "Chike, please, talk to me. What did I do wrong? Why are you treating me like this?" He stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. "You want to know what you did wrong? You exist. That's what you did wrong. You're always here, always in my face, always suffocating me." "Suffocating you?" Amara's voice broke. "I'm your wife." "Don't remind me," he muttered, walking away. Amara collapsed into the chair, her body shaking with sobs. She didn't hear Regina enter the room until gentle hands touched her shoulders. "Ama, don't cry," Regina said softly. "He's just stressed from work. You know how men get when they have pressure." Amara looked up at her friend with swollen eyes. "Regina, this is not stress. He hates me. My own husband hates me, and I don't know why." "He doesn't hate you. He's just going through something." "Then why won't he talk to me? Why does he look at me like I'm his enemy?" Regina hugged her, stroking her back. "Give him time. He'll come around. I'm here for you, okay? You're not alone." Amara cried into Regina's shoulder. "Thank God you're here, Regina. I don't know what I would do without you." Regina smiled over Amara's head. "If only you knew," she thought. "If only you knew." But Regina wasn't just comforting Amara. She was also poisoning Chike's mind. Every chance she got, she whispered lies into his ears. One morning, while Amara was in the shower, Regina brought Chike his coffee. "Thank you," he said coldly, not looking at her. "Chike, can I talk to you for a minute?" Regina sat down across from him, her voice concerned. "What is it?" "I don't know if I should say this, but I'm worried about you." He looked up. "Worried about what?" "About Amara. I've been living here for a few weeks now, and I've noticed some things." "What things?" Regina lowered her voice, like she was sharing a dangerous secret. "She talks about you when you're not here. She complains about everything. The house, the money, your work hours. She says you don't give her enough." Chike's jaw tightened. "She said that?" "I didn't want to tell you because she's my friend, but I think you deserve to know. She's not grateful, Chike. You do so much for her and she doesn't appreciate it." The darkness in Chike's eyes deepened. "I knew it," he muttered. "I knew she didn't really love me." "I'm sorry, Chike. I wish I had better news." Regina stood up, hiding her smile. She touched his shoulder gently before walking away. "Another day," she told him. "Amara said she only married you because you have money. She said if you lost everything she would leave." "Another day. She laughs at you behind your back. She thinks you're too soft." "Another day. She told me she regrets marrying you." None of it was true. But Chike believed every word. The enchantment made him believe. His heart filled with more hatred, more bitterness, more anger, and Amara had no idea why. The breaking point came on a Sunday afternoon. Amara had been trying all week to fix whatever was broken between them. She suggested they go to church together, maybe pray together, maybe remember who they used to be. Chike, please, let's go to church, just the two of us, like we used to. I'm not going anywhere with you, he said flatly. Why? What have I done? You really want to know? He turned to face her, his eyes blazing. You're fake, Amara. You pretend to love me, but you don't. You married me for my money. You married me because I have a good job and a nice house, but you don't actually love me. What? Amara stumbled backward. Chike, that's not true. I love you with everything in me. Liar! His voice exploded through the house. You think I don't know? You think I'm stupid? I see through you now. See through me? Chike, I don't understand. Where is this coming from? It's coming from the truth I was too blind to see before. I don't even know what I saw in you. You're nothing special. You're not beautiful. You're not smart. You're just there, taking up space in my life. Each word was a dagger. Amara's legs gave out. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Chike, please don't say these things. I'm your wife. You loved me. You said you would love me forever. That was before I knew who you really were. He looked down at her with disgust. Get up. Stop being so dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. My heart is breaking. Your heart? He laughed cruelly. You don't have a heart. You have a bank account where your heart should be. That's not fair. You know what's not fair? He grabbed his car keys. Having to come home to you every day, having to see your face, having to pretend I still care. Pretend? Amara's voice was barely a whisper. Yes, pretend. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you. He walked toward the door. Where are you going? Amara cried. Anywhere but here. He slammed the door so hard the windows shook. Amara collapsed on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Regina rushed out of her room, pretending she had just heard everything. Amma! Oh my God, Amma! She knelt beside her. I heard shouting. What happened? He hates me, Regina. He really hates me. Amara could barely breathe between sobs. He said I'm not beautiful. He said I married him for money. He said he doesn't know what he saw in me. No. He didn't mean it. He's just angry. You didn't hear how he said it. You didn't see his eyes. Amara looked up at Regina. Regina, my husband looked at me like I'm trash, like I'm nothing. Regina held her tight, making soothing sounds. But inside she was celebrating. This is perfect, she thought. Everything is going exactly as planned. When Chike came back that evening, he wouldn't even look at Amara. She tried to apologize, even though she didn't know what she was apologizing for. Chike, I'm sorry. Whatever I did, I'm sorry. Please, let's talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. There's everything to talk about. This is our marriage. No. He turned to face her, his expression ice cold. This is my house, and I've made a decision. Amara's heart stopped. What decision? I want you out of the main house. What? Go stay in the detached apartment. I don't want to share the same space with you anymore. Chike, you can't be serious. Do I look like I'm joking? His voice was like steel. Pack your things and move to the apartment, tonight. No, this is our home, our bedroom, our life. It was. It's not anymore. Amara fell to her knees again, grabbing his hand. Please, Chike, please don't do this. I'm begging you. I'm your wife. We made vows before God. He pulled his hand away. Get off me! Chike! Get off me! He pushed her, not hard, but enough to make her fall backward. Amara sat on the floor, staring at him in shock. Regina came running in. Chike! What's going on? Why is Amma on the floor? She fell, he said simply. Chike, please, Regina put on her most concerned face. Don't be so harsh. She's your wife. Whatever the problem is, you two can work it out. Stay out of this, Regina. I'm just trying to help. I said stay out of it. He pointed at Amara. You have 10 minutes to pack. If you're not out of this bedroom by then, I'll throw your things out myself. He walked away, leaving Amara crying on the floor. Regina knelt beside her. Come, Amma, let me help you pack. I can't believe this is happening, Amara whispered. I can't believe he's doing this to me. It's temporary. I'm sure it's temporary. Let's just do what he says for now. Things will get better. But Regina knew things would not get better. They would get much, much worse. Amara moved to the detached apartment that night. It was a small, separate building in the compound, meant for guests or visitors. It had one bedroom, one bathroom, and a small sitting area. Amara sat on the bed, surrounded by her hastily packed bags, and cried until she had no tears left. Meanwhile, in the main house, Regina was finally alone with Chike. This was her chance. She had worked so hard for this moment. Now she would make him see her, really see her. The next morning, Regina woke up extra early. She showered and put on a tight-fitting dress that showed her curves. She applied makeup carefully. She made her hair look perfect. Then she went to the kitchen and started cooking. By the time Chike woke up, the smell of fresh akara, bread, and tea filled the house. He came out of his bedroom looking tired. "Good morning, Chike," Regina said sweetly. "I made breakfast for you." He looked at the food spread on the table. "You didn't have to do that. I wanted to. You've been so stressed lately. Let me take care of you." She served him, smiling warmly. She sat across from him, watching his every move. "How did you sleep?" she asked. "Fine." "That's good." She leaned forward slightly, making sure he could see her cleavage. "If you need anything, Chike, anything at all, just let me know. I'm here for you." He nodded absently and continued eating. But he didn't look at her the way she wanted. He didn't see her the way he used to see Amara. Still, Regina didn't give up. Every day she tried harder. She cooked his favorite meals. She wore revealing clothes around the house. She touched his arm when they talked. She laughed at everything he said. She asked him about his work, his dreams, his thoughts. She stayed up late to watch TV with him. She made sure she was always available, always present, always beautiful. But Chike's eyes remained empty when he looked at her. He said thank you for the food. He nodded when she spoke. But there was no warmth, no interest, no attraction. One evening, Regina sat beside him on the couch, closer than necessary. "Chike," she said softly, "you know I really admire you, right?" "Okay," he said, not looking away from the TV. "I mean it. You're a good man. Strong, hard-working, handsome." She touched his shoulder. "Any woman would be lucky to have you." He moved slightly, dislodging her hand. "Thank you." That was all. Just thank you. Regina's frustration grew. Why wasn't this working? The magic had made him hate Amara. So why couldn't he love her? She tried everything. She accidentally walked past his room in a towel. She bent over in front of him while cleaning. She asked him to help her reach something high, pressing herself against him. But nothing worked. Chike remained cold, distant, uninterested. Yes, he hated Amara now, but he didn't love Regina. His heart, even under enchantment, remained tied to his wife. And that drove Regina mad with rage. After 2 weeks of failure, Regina called her mother again. It was late at night. She stood in the backyard, away from the house, her voice shaking with frustration. "Mama, it's not working." "What do you mean?" "He hates Amara now. He threw her out of the house. But he doesn't want me. He doesn't even look at me, Mama. I've tried everything." "I told you," her mother said calmly. "Love cannot be forced. The magic makes him hate her, but it cannot make him love you." "Then what's the point?" Regina's voice rose. "What's the point of all this if I still can't have him? Be patient, my daughter. Sometimes you have to destroy the old before you can build the new." "Destroy?" Regina's eyes gleamed. "What do you mean?" "If you truly want him, Amara must be completely removed from his life. Not just from his house, from his heart, from his mind, from his sight." "How?" Her mother's voice dropped to a whisper. "I can make her suffer. I can make her so ugly, so disgusting, that Chike will never think of her again. When a man sees his wife destroyed, broken, repulsive, he forgets her completely." Regina's heart pounded. "Will it hurt her?" "Yes, very much." There was a long pause. "Do it," Regina said finally. "Are you sure? This magic is stronger, darker. There is no going back." "I don't care. I want him, Mama. Do whatever you have to do." Her mother was silent for a moment. Then, "It will be done. By morning, Amara will wish she had never been born." The call ended. Regina stood in the darkness, her chest heaving. A small voice in her head whispered that this was wrong, evil, wicked, but she silenced it. She wanted Chike, and she would do anything to get him. The next morning, Amara woke up with pain. Her skin felt like it was on fire. She sat up in bed, gasping. Her arms were covered in red, angry blisters. What is this?" she whispered. She ran to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. Her face was swollen. More blisters covered her cheeks, her forehead, her neck. "Oh God," she breathed. "What's happening to me?" The blisters weren't just red. They were oozing. A clear, foul-smelling liquid seeped from them. Amara touched one gently and cried out in pain. It burned. Everything burned. She tried to wash her face, but water made it worse. The pain intensified until she was gasping for air. She managed to put on a long-sleeved dress and a headscarf, trying to cover as much of her skin as possible. Then she stumbled to the main house, desperate for help. Chike was in the living room when she entered. "Chike," she called weakly. "Chike, something is wrong with me." He turned around and his face twisted in disgust. Even with most of her skin covered, the smell had entered the room, and the blisters on her hands were visible. "What happened to you?" he asked, backing away. "I don't know. I woke up like this. I need to go to the hospital. Please, take me to the hospital." "Are you serious? You expect me to get in a car with you looking like that?" "Chike, I'm sick. I need help. You're disgusting." He covered his nose. "You smell like... I can't even describe it. Like something rotten. Like death." "Chike, please." Tears ran down her swollen face, burning the open wounds. "I'm your wife." "I don't know what you are, but don't come near me." He pointed toward the door. "Get out. Go back to your apartment. Don't bring that disease near me." "Disease? Chike, I need a doctor." "Then call one yourself. I'm not touching you. I'm not going anywhere with you. Look at yourself. You're repulsive." Amara stood frozen, his words cutting deeper than any physical pain. "How can you say that to me?" she whispered. "Because it's true. I regret marrying you. I regret every day I've spent with you. Get out of my sight." Amara turned and ran, sobbing. Regina appeared from the kitchen, her face full of fake concern. "Chike, why are you shouting? What's—" She saw Amara running out. Oh my God, what happened to her? "Some kind of disease. Did you see her skin? Did you smell her?" Chike sat down heavily. "I can't believe I married someone like that." Regina placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Don't say that. She's just sick. It'll pass." But when she turned away, Regina smiled. The curse was working perfectly. Days passed. Amara's condition got worse. The blisters covered her entire body now. Her face was unrecognizable. The swelling made her eyes nearly close. The smell was unbearable, even to herself. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. Every movement brought excruciating pain. She tried calling her family, but her phone had no credit. She tried leaving the compound to find help, but she was too weak to walk far. The only person who came to check on her was Regina. Every day, Regina brought food and water. "Amma, you need to eat something," she would say gently. "I can't," Amara would whisper. "Everything hurts." "I know, but you have to try. For me?" Regina would help her sit up. She would wipe Amara's face with a cloth. She would speak encouraging words, and Amara believed her. "Thank you, Regina," Amara said one evening, her voice hoarse. "You're the only one who hasn't abandoned me. Chike won't even look at me. He says I'm disgusting. He says he regrets marrying me. He doesn't mean it, Amma. He's just scared of your illness. You're not scared. Because I love you. You're my sister." Amara cried. "If God didn't bring you into my life, Regina, I don't know what I would do. You're the only good thing left." Regina stroked her back, careful not to touch the blisters. "I'll never leave you, my friend," she said. But behind Amara's back, where the sick woman couldn't see, Regina's smile was pure evil. She had destroyed Amara completely. The beautiful, glowing wife was now unrecognizable, broken, alone, suffering, and Chike would never want her again. Now, finally, Chike would be hers. Or so she thought, because what Regina didn't know was that heaven was watching, and evil never wins forever. 3 months had passed since the blisters appeared, 3 months of unspeakable suffering. Amara lay on the bed in the detached apartment, her body trembling with pain. The blisters had spread everywhere. Her arms, her legs, her back, her face, there was no part of her that didn't hurt. The smell had gotten worse, so bad that she could barely stand to be near herself. She had stopped looking in mirrors days ago. She couldn't bear to see what she had become. The beautiful woman who used to stand beside her husband with pride was gone. In her place was something she didn't recognize, something broken, something dying. Amara had tried to pray. She had tried so many times, but the words wouldn't come, only tears. How do you pray when your own husband calls you disgusting? When the man who once kissed your face now covers his nose when you enter the room? How do you pray when your body feels like it's rotting from the inside out? How do you pray when you've lost all hope? That afternoon, Chike came to the detached apartment. Amara heard his footsteps, and her heart lifted for just a moment. Maybe he had come to check on her. Maybe the old Chike was coming back. But when he opened the door, his face was twisted with anger. You need to do something about that smell, he said from the doorway, refusing to come closer. It's reaching the main house now. Regina is complaining. She can't even open her windows. Amara sat up slowly, wincing at the pain. Chike? I can't help it. I'm sick. I need to see a doctor. A doctor? He laughed bitterly. What doctor wants to touch you? Look at yourself. Then take me to the hospital, please. I'm begging you. I told you, I'm not going anywhere with you. You think I want people to see me with that? He pointed at her like she was garbage. They'll think I'm the one who made you sick. They'll blame me. You're my husband. Amara's voice cracked. You promised to love me in sickness and in health. That was before I knew you would turn into a monster. The word hit her like a physical blow. Monster. Amara's hands began to shake. Not from pain this time, from something breaking deep inside her soul. Get out, she whispered. What? Get out of my room. Her voice was stronger now, filled with a pain that went beyond the physical. If I'm a monster to you, then leave me alone. Don't come here anymore. Don't look at me. Don't speak to me. Just go. Chike stared at her for a moment. Then he turned and walked away, slamming the door behind him. The sound echoed in the small room. Amara sat frozen for several seconds. Then something inside her collapsed completely. She slid off the bed and fell to the floor. Her body was too weak to hold her up anymore. She crawled toward the corner of the room, her wounds dragging against the floor, leaving traces of fluid behind. When she reached the corner, she curled up like a child and she wept. Not the soft crying she had done before. This was different. This came from the deepest part of her being, from a place she didn't even know existed. She wept for her marriage, for her husband, for the love they had lost. She wept for her body that had betrayed her. She wept for the loneliness that was swallowing her whole. God, she whispered into the empty room. God, are you there? Her voice was so weak, so broken. I don't understand what's happening to me. I don't know what I did wrong, but I can't do this anymore. Her whole body shook. I'm tired, Father. I'm so tired. The tears kept falling. My husband hates me. He called me a monster. He looks at me like I'm trash. And maybe I am. Maybe this is punishment for something. Maybe I deserve this. She pressed her face against the cold floor. But if I don't deserve it, if this is not from you, then please, God, have mercy on me. Her voice broke completely. I can't fight anymore. I can't pray pretty prayers. I can't be strong. I'm empty. I'm finished. I have nothing left to give. She closed her eyes, her breathing ragged. Whatever is wrong with me and my home, I don't know it, but you do. You see everything. You know everything. A sob tore through her chest. Restore my home, Father. Restore my husband. Restore my body. Restore my life. I can't do this anymore. I can't. Her voice faded into silence. She had no more words. Only surrender. Only brokenness. Only complete, absolute dependence on God. And in that moment of total surrender, heaven moved. At first, Amara didn't notice anything. She lay on the floor, exhausted, her tears forming a small pool beneath her face. Then she felt it. A breeze. But there were no windows open. The breeze grew stronger. It swirled around the room, lifting papers, rustling curtains. Amara opened her eyes. The lights began to flicker, on, off, on, off. The air felt electric, charged with something powerful. Something she couldn't see but could feel in every cell of her body. Then came the sound. A loud crack like thunder, but inside the room. Amara gasped. The wind intensified, whipping around her body. But it wasn't a normal wind. It felt alive, purposeful. And then she felt it lifting, the heaviness, the darkness, the curse. It was like someone had grabbed an invisible weight off her chest and pulled it away. Her skin began to cool. The burning sensation faded. The pain that had tormented her for weeks started to disappear. Amara sat up, her eyes wide with shock. She looked down at her arms. The blisters were shrinking. Right before her eyes, they were closing up. The swelling was going down. The oozing stopped. What? She whispered. What is happening? Her breathing steadied. Her vision cleared. Her strength returned. She touched her face with trembling hands. The swelling was gone. Her skin felt smooth again. The smell had vanished. Amara stood up on shaky legs, staring at her reflection in the small mirror on the wall. She looked like herself again. Not sick, not dying, not a monster. Just Amara. God, she breathed. You heard me. You actually heard me. Fresh tears came, but these were different. These were tears of relief, of gratitude, of awe. But before she could fully process what had happened, a sound shattered the air. A scream, a terrible, agonized scream from the main house. Amara's heart jumped. She ran to the window. Through the glass, she could see into the living room of the main house, and what she saw made her blood run cold. Regina was standing in the middle of the living room, screaming. Chike stood frozen, staring at her in horror. Amara watched as something impossible happened. A dark smoke, visible even from where Amara stood, flew out through the window of the detached apartment. It moved like it was alive, like a snake made of shadows. It shot across the compound and entered the main house through the open door, and it slammed into Regina. The impact knocked Regina off her feet. She crashed to the floor, her body convulsing. "No, no, no," Regina screamed. "Not me! It was supposed to stay on her." But it was too late. Right before Chike's eyes, right before Amara's eyes, Regina's skin began to erupt. Blisters exploded across her arms. Her face swelled instantly, worse than Amara's had ever been. The wounds opened, oozing thick, foul liquid. Within seconds, Regina looked exactly like Amara had looked. No, worse. The curse had returned to its sender with double the force. The smell filled the entire house immediately, suffocating, unbearable. Regina crawled backwards, screaming, trying to get away from her own body. "What's happening to me? What's happening?" Chike backed against the wall, his face pale with shock. "Regina, what?" Then something fell from Regina's bag. The bag had tipped over in her fall, spilling its contents across the floor, and there, among her belongings, was Amara's purple wrapper. But it didn't look like a normal wrapper anymore. It was tied with black thread, soaked in palm oil, covered in strange markings, surrounded by small pouches that smelled of herbs and blood. Charms, evil charms. Chike stared at the wrapper. His eyes widened as recognition hit him. That's Amara's wrapper," he whispered. And in that instant, something broke inside his mind. The fog lifted, the darkness cleared, the enchantment shattered like glass. Chike stumbled backward, his hands going to his head as memories flooded back, memories of loving Amara. Real memories, not the twisted ones the curse had created. Memories of their wedding day, their first kiss, their promises to each other. Memories of how much he loved her, how much he had always loved her. And then memories of what he had done to her. The things he had said, the way he had treated her. "Oh God," he breathed. "Oh God, what have I done?" He looked at Regina, who was now writhing on the floor, her body covered in suppurating wounds. "You did this!" His voice exploded through the house. "You bewitched me! You cursed my wife!" Regina tried to crawl toward him, her face unrecognizable. "Chike, please. I didn't mean what?" He kicked the wrapper away from her like it was poisonous. "You came into my house. I welcomed you. We helped you. And you destroyed my marriage? You tried to kill my wife?" "I just wanted you to love me," Regina sobbed. "I just wanted what she had." "So you bewitched me?" Chike's whole body shook with rage and horror. "You made me hate the woman I love? You made me call her a monster." He looked at the door, and his face crumpled with grief. "Amara," he whispered. "Oh God, Amara, what did I do to you?" He turned back to Regina, his eyes blazing. "Get out of my house! Get out right now!" "Chike, please, I'm sick, look at me!" "I don't care. You did this to yourself. This is what you deserve." He grabbed her bag and threw it at her. "Get out before I throw you out." Regina tried to stand but collapsed. The pain was too much, the smell was overwhelming. She looked up at Chike with desperate eyes, but there was no mercy in his face, only disgust, only rage. Only the realization of what she had done. "Out," he said coldly. "Now." Regina crawled toward the door, leaving a trail of fluid behind her. Her screams echoed through the compound as she dragged herself outside. But Chike didn't watch her go. He turned toward the detached apartment, and there, standing in the doorway, was Amara, completely healed, beautiful, glowing, alive. Chike's legs gave out. He fell to his knees right there in the living room, a sob tearing from his throat. Amara. Amara walked slowly across the compound. Each step felt surreal, like she was in a dream. When she reached the door of the main house, Chike was crawling toward her. Actually crawling, on his hands and knees, tears streamed down his face. "Amma, my God! Amma, what have I done to you?" He reached her feet and collapsed, his forehead touching the ground. "Forgive me. Please, Amma, forgive me." His whole body shook with sobs. "I wasn't myself. I don't know. I don't remember, but I know what I did. I know what I said to you." Amara stood frozen, her own tears starting to fall. "I called you disgusting. I called you a monster." His voice broke. "I abandoned you when you were sick. I threw you out of our bedroom. I failed you completely." He looked up at her, his face destroyed by grief. "You're my wife, my love, my everything, and I treated you like you were nothing." He grabbed her hands, kissing them desperately. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please." Amara knelt down beside him. Her hands cupped his face, forcing him to look at her. "Chike," she whispered, "it wasn't you. It was the curse. It was Regina's evil, not you." "But I said those things. I did those things. You were under a spell. Your mind was poisoned. Your heart was bewitched." Tears ran down her face. "But I see you now. I see my husband now, the real you. And he's here. You came back to me." Chike pulled her into his arms, holding her so tight she could barely breathe. They both collapsed to the floor, crying together. "I love you," he said over and over. "I love you so much. I will never let anything come between us again. Never. I swear to God, Amma, I will protect you. I will cherish you. I will never hurt you again." "I know," she whispered. "I know." They stayed like that for a long time, holding each other, crying together, healing together. Outside, Regina's screams faded into the distance, but neither of them noticed. They only had eyes for each other. At that exact moment, miles away, in a dark compound on the other side of town, another scream pierced the air. Regina's mother was in her shrine, surrounded by candles and idols when it happened. Without warning, every idol fell. They crashed to the ground, shattering into pieces. The candles burst into flames, then died instantly, leaving only smoke. The charms hanging on the walls turned black and crumbled into dust. And then a force, dark, terrible, unstoppable, struck her in the chest. The old woman flew backward, slamming against the wall. She gasped for air, clutching her chest, then she felt it. The burning, the itching, the pain. She looked down at her arms and screamed. Blisters, dozens of them, hundreds of them, erupting across her skin like boils. Her face swelled, her eyes closed from the swelling. Her skin oozed and stank. "No," she cried. "No! The magic, it's turned on me." She tried to call on her spirits. She tried to reverse the curse. But the shrine was dead. Her power was gone. The spirits had abandoned her. The curse she had unleashed on an innocent woman had returned to her. Retribution had fallen. Days passed. Regina wandered the streets, her body rotting, her smell unbearable. She went to her family, but they slammed doors in her face. She went to friends, but they ran from her. She went to her mother's house, only to find her mother in the same condition. Both of them suffering. Both of them cursed. Both of them reaping what they had sown. People pointed at them in the streets. "Look at that woman. She's the one who tried to destroy someone's marriage. See what jealousy does. She wanted another woman's husband, and now look at her." This is a warning from God. Don't touch what doesn't belong to you. Children threw stones at them, women spat at them, men cursed them. Regina had nowhere to go, no one to turn to, no help, no mercy. She had become a living testimony, a walking warning. This is what happens when you covet, when you scheme, when you use evil to get what you want. This is what happens when you come into someone's home with a smile but carry a weapon in your heart. God sees everything, and evil always returns to sender. Back at Chike's house, restoration had begun. The first thing Chike did was carry Amara back into their bedroom, not just walk her back. He lifted her in his arms like a bride and carried her across the threshold. "You're never leaving this room again," he said firmly. "This is your home, our home, always." He laid her gently on their bed, the bed she had been thrown out of. Then he spent the next hour just holding her, crying, apologizing, thanking God for bringing her back to him. Every day after that, Chike took care of Amara like she was royalty. He drew warm baths for her and washed her gently, marveling at how her skin had healed. He cooked for her, even though his cooking was terrible, because he wanted to serve her. He massaged her shoulders, her feet, her hands. He prayed with her every morning and every night, thanking God for breaking the curse and restoring their love. He held her constantly, touched her constantly, kissed her constantly, as if making up for every moment of coldness, every harsh word, every rejection. "I will spend the rest of my life loving you," he told her one night. "I will spend the rest of my life proving to you that you are precious to me." Amara smiled. tears in her eyes. "You don't have to prove anything. I already know." And he kept that promise. Their love, which had been tested by fire, came out stronger than ever. They learned to guard their home, to be careful about who they let in, to pray together every day. They learned that not everyone who cries is helpless, not everyone who smiles is a friend, not everyone who calls you sister has your best interests at heart. One Sunday, they went to church together to give testimony. Amara stood before the congregation, her face glowing, her body completely healed. "I want to tell you what God did for me," she began. She told them everything. About the friend she welcomed, about the curse, about her suffering, about the prayer that broke the chains. When she finished, the entire church erupted in praise. Women were crying, men were shouting, everyone was thanking God for his mercy and justice. The pastor called Chike and Amara to the altar. "Let this be a lesson to everyone here," he said. "Be careful who you open your doors to. Not everyone who comes with tears has good intentions. Some people come to study your life so they can destroy it. Some people come to envy what you have so they can take it from you." He placed his hands on their heads. "But when God rises in defense of his children, no weapon formed against them can prosper. Evil is exposed, curses are broken, and the innocent are restored." The church shouted, "Amen." Months later, Amara and Chike's home was filled with peace again, more than peace. Joy, laughter, love. They had learned their lesson. They had seen God's power. They had experienced his restoration. One evening, as they sat together on their couch, Amara's head on Chike's shoulder, she said softly, "I'm grateful for what happened." Chike looked down at her in surprise. "Grateful? After everything you suffered?" "Yes, because it showed me that our love can survive anything. It showed me that God is faithful even when everything looks hopeless, and it showed me who was really in my corner." She looked up at him. "It was you all along. Even when you were under a spell, your heart never truly left me, and when the curse broke, you came back. You fought for us." Chike kissed her forehead. "I will always fight for us. Always." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Amara said, "Do you think Regina will ever be healed?" Chike was quiet for a long time. "I don't know. That's between her and God. But I know this. If she wants healing, she has to repent. Really repent. Not just for what she did to us, but for the evil in her heart." "I hope she does," Amara said softly. "I hope she learns that you can't build happiness on someone else's pain." "That's why I love you," Chike said, pulling her closer. "Even after everything she did, you still have compassion for her." "I don't hate her. I pity her. Because she could have had a beautiful life if she had just been content with her own portion instead of coveting mine." Moral of the story. Not everyone who enters your home with tears is innocent. Not everyone who calls you sister is your friend. Not everyone who appears helpless is really in need. Some people come to study your blessings so they can steal them. Some people smile in your face while cursing you behind your back. Some people eat at your table while plotting your downfall. Be careful who you welcome into your home. Be careful who you share your life with. Be careful who you trust with your marriage, your peace, your joy. Because some people don't want to be like you. They want to be you. They don't want a husband like yours. They want your husband. They don't want a home like yours. They want your home. Guard your heart. Guard your home. Guard your marriage. Not everyone deserves access to your private life. But remember this, when God rises to defend his children, no weapon formed against them will prosper. Evil will be exposed. Curses will return to sender, and the innocent will be restored. Trust God. Pray without ceasing, and be wise about who you let into your circle, because the enemy doesn't always come with horns and a pitchfork. Sometimes the enemy comes with tears and a suitcase, asking for a place to stay. May God protect your home. May he expose every hidden enemy, and may he restore everything the enemy has tried to steal from you.